Okay, so my plan was that when starting my channel back up, I would do one video a month as a start. I have a part-time job, and I have other hobbies that require my attention, so one a month is probably the best I can do under normal circumstances if the quality of my script writing and voiceover is going to be at least decent while maintaining what little semblance of sanity I have left. Since the Ruby world building video, I had been rewatching Star Wars Rebels as a plan to do a video about why it's actually some of the best Star Wars in existence, but my rewatch got interrupted, and you might be curious about what it was that did it. Well, it's really quite simple, and in the title of the video. Fucking Horizon Forbidden West came out, and that's kind of the only thing my free time has been devoted to since it released. So, since my initial plan for my video for the month of March is delayed, I decided that instead the video will be about a bunch of the things in this game that I just enjoy the ever-loving shit out of. Some of these things are small, and some of them are huge. Some of them aren't spoilery at all, while others are. I just really want to talk about it, so let me just give you my bloated list of great things in this game, and we're starting really simple. 1. The musical score. Every single intense or emotional moment has music that just matches it so perfectly. 2. So many characters in this game just have absurdly epic voices. This may be the most well voice acted game I've ever played, not just because the voices themselves are great, but also the variety. There's so much variation in the kinds of voices everyone has, and it makes the world feel natural. The first time you visit Plainsong and there's just all the singing, it's just so euphoric. It feels like being sent into another plane of existence. It feels like you are walking into Sovngarde. 4. The diversity of environment is just great. We've got deserts, we've got mountains, we've got forests, we've got marshes, and we've got snow, and every environment plays differently. You can use the environment to your advantage in combat differently depending on the biome. In the mountains, you can get high ground and just kind of cheese whatever big machine you're fighting. In rainforests and lowlands, you can just use the trees and abundance of grass to just stay stealthy easier. It's great that the different areas play differently. 5. The platforming and climbing in this game feels so much more like a puzzle than just a way to get around. The polecaster and the glider really unlock this. Sure, it's all mostly linear, but it isn't always obvious how to get to the top of something, and figuring that out makes it fun. I think the Relic Ruins are a really good example of this. 6. Every single time Erend and Varl interact with each other at the base, it is basically comedy gold, and I won't take criticism on that. I also just found Erend's enjoyment of old world music to be pretty great. 7. Actually, everything to do with character interactions at the base is amazing. Varl and Zoe's not super subtle flirting, and seeing Aloy and Erend react to that with teasing and eye-rolling is always amusing to me, but maybe I'm just easily entertained. 8. The combat is satisfying as hell, especially when you figure out how to easily take down formerly troublesome enemies. Very little feels better than using a powerful shock bow on a stalker and using a melee crit when it's overloaded. That's just... it feels like saying fuck you to something that was killing you so hard at early levels. 9. The fact that the best way to fish is to just swim and chase after it, that is some of the wild, wacky shit I play video games for. 10. Goddamn underwater Las Vegas. Holy shit, was that beautiful. It was another one of those wholly ascending into Sovngarde experiences, much like Plainsong was. Just one of the most crazy and wild and beautiful designs I've ever seen in a game. One thing that I think this series has always done well, and it continues to do well in this game, is that when you meet a new tribe, it kind of deviates from the perception that a lot of the other people who haven't really experienced that tribe that much have of them. That you hear about how bloodthirsty and territorial the Tenakth are, but You see, they've had good relations with the Utaru. You see just how they are personally. You meet a bunch of the characters and you see they're just people. It's not like there's just this inherent thing about them that is warlike and territorial. You don't see that this is how they interact with each other. It's just, you see that that's a lie. It's just the way distance and war create an ignorance that dehumanizes people, and I think it's interesting to see a game like this kind of address that. 12. Basically every underwater area is beautiful. Once you get the diving mask, you'll probably start spending more time underwater, and when you do, you realize just how much environmental beauty has been hidden away from you up until that point. It's a major perspective shift. 13. The ruins of San Francisco are haunting yet beautiful. I think there will always be something to giant ruined buildings that makes a game's environment so much better for me. 14. I love how stealth works in this game. The fact that you can play a good chunk of it is basically just a trap setter adds a great option for a lot of situations, mainly the giant machines you may find in the wilds that might dominate you in a straight up fight. 15. For being such a large game that's packed with content, it's amazing how many characters are multi-dimensional and are usually somewhat layered. As much as I love Skyrim, well, I think the only reason I remember a lot of them is how many times I've played it. 16. Just how many settlements there are, and how cool a lot of the layouts of these settlements are. I only played the first game once, and I quite honestly don't remember all that many of them outside of Meridian, but I get the feeling that the ones here will stick with me for a lot longer. 17. The weapon upgrades feel rewarding, not just from damage upgrades, but unlocking new coil slots and ammo types completely changes how an upgraded weapon plays and gives you, the player, new options. On top of that, having to remove specific parts to get the resources you need for your upgrades makes you have to sometimes take inoptimal strategies for some machines, or maybe even not finish the fight and killing it because you already got the needed part. 18. This game has somehow managed to make set pieces work in an open world. It almost always seems to flow well and not really take you out of the game or out of the world. 19. The fact that sometimes companions will call you to tell you about something they've heard that might lead you to a new quest. It's an interesting way to make you feel more connected to them even if they aren't traveling with you. And finally, 20. This is the last point. Aloy's arc is great because it gets set up early, and it's something that's kind of an unspoken element of the first game, and that being that Aloy herself has a habit of being a complete loner, feeling this need to do everything on her own, something that's probably still held over from being shunned by her society for so long. But this game kind of points out that just because she has a valid reason for this, that doesn't make it good or helpful. Over the course of the game, she becomes more and more open to accepting help from others, to the point where she starts seeking it out later in the game. She learns she can't do everything on her own, even if she's the key to fixing things on her mission. It can't be done by just one person, and it helps that her relationships with each of the companions in the game is unique and natural. Her and Varl are like the best bro TP of all time, and I think this focus on community is something that we really need in our society right now. Plus, it all forms from something that someone could naturally come to thinking after the first game. What if she started teaching other people the truth of the old world? What could that be like? What would be the consequences of that happening? And the companions give us that answer on a smaller scale. I'm not going to go all that much deeper than that because I'm trying to minimize the big spoilers in this video, but you should play the game for yourself and see what I mean. I'm just gonna add a quick little conclusion to the end of this because most of the script for this video was written before I had finished the game, and after finishing it, I honestly think this is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but, you know, it's definitely up there, right with Hades and Fallout New Vegas for me, and I don't know. You should play it. I need to play Elden Ring, but this had my attention first, and part of me is sad that all the Elden Ring hype kind of, overshadowed Forbidden West, because it's a fantastic game in its own right. So I just feel, I just felt like gushing about one of my favorite games and pointing out, like, this has gone underappreciated due to the hype of another game. So thanks for watching. I should hopefully have another video out on a more normal schedule and more in, the usual style of video coming sometime in April. I think it's still going to be that Star Wars Rebels video, but if it turns out to be something else, well, you'll know when I upload it. So thanks for watching. Your boy Gamer Ghost, signing off.